can count on us. This is 7 News.
A crash has closed one eastbound lane of the H.E. Bailey Turnpike, and it is causing quite the backup. According to Oklahoma Highway Patrol, I-44 is closed at mile marker 73, which is just south of Chickasha.
And we're getting reports traffic is backed up all the way to the Elgin exit. OHP has not released any information about the crash, but at 5:40 this afternoon, they did say they had opened one lane of traffic.
And you can count on us to keep you updated with any new information. Lawton police are now working to track down a man they say is involved in a custody dispute that included with gunfire last night.
For all the details, we'll go live to 7 News reporter Chelsea Floyd outside the Lawton Police Department. Chelsea, what can you tell us about this dispute?
A shot was fired, but no one was hurt. Apparently, the child's father got into an argument with the child's mother and her boyfriend about custody over the boy.
We are currently investigating this incident. We're looking for suspects or anybody that may be involved.
Police arrived at a home in the 4100 block of Southwest Wolf Street around 10:30 last night. Officials say the father was dropping the child off at the child's mother's house when an argument broke out.
He fired a shot at one of the individuals that were there.
No one was hurt. However, the father then took off with the child in his vehicle. Police say they have now found and impounded the father's car from last night, and the child has been returned to the mother. Officials still have not released the dad's name. Sergeant Jenkins says in situations like this one, it's best to contact the police department.
People get upset and tensions get high and things get heated, and so we always want people to know that if they do have an issue, domestic dispute, something like that, always call the police department, let us come out, and we will try our best to handle the situation.
If you know the whereabouts of the child's father, you're encouraged to call Lawton Police or Crime Stoppers at 355-INFO. We will keep you updated on information that comes available on our 7 News app. Live at Lawton Police Department, Chelsea Floyd, 7 News.
Lots of sunshine today. Got to enjoy pretty comfortable temperatures. Back to where we should be for this time of the year, with highs back in the mid-50s. As for right now, still seeing a few high-level clouds on our Duncan Regional Hospital tower cam. Starting to cool off a little bit. 51 now in Stevens County with no wind to speak of. Wind has gone calm here in the Duncan area as we look ahead towards the weekend. We do start to bring in some more clouds, but temperatures pretty much on par with what we saw today for tomorrow. Mid-50s for Saturday. By Sunday, still in that same ballpark here, but we're going to bring back some strong southwest winds, 15 to 25 with a front passing through later on in the day. So a gusty north wind later on into the afternoon and evening. That's enough to squeeze out a few spotty showers, but not everybody's going to be seeing those. It looks like the best chance is going to be for areas just along and east of I-44, with an even smaller chance out towards Highway 183. I'll time these rain chances out for you and also look at our next cool down for late next week coming up in just a bit. Caitlin.
A Lawton man is headed to trial. He's facing charges connected to a deadly shooting at Lawton's Avondale Point Apartments last May. This is Unique Porch Nolan. He's suspected of shooting 2 people at the apartments, one of whom later died. He's facing charges with first-degree murder and assault and battery with a deadly weapon. The shooting happened on May 19th. Nolan was later captured in Oklahoma City. His formal arraignment is set for Monday.
The case of a Duncan woman who married her biological daughter is going to trial. Patricia Spann will go before a judge March 13th. Spann was charged with incest in September of 2016. Her daughter, Misty Spann, pleaded guilty to the same charge and received a deferred sentence, but now wants to withdraw her plea. Misty Spann will return to court on March the 20th.
And Lawton police are on the lookout for a man who they say robbed someone outside Lawton's Central Mall late last month. A warrant was issued for the arrest of Devonta Lawrence on charges of first-degree robbery. A victim told police he was walking back to his car at the mall when he was approached by 2 men, one of whom had a gun. They demanded money, took his phone, and attempted to steal his car. One of the suspects was identified shortly after, but the second suspect was able to get away. If you see him or know anything, you are urged to call Lawton Police or Crime Stoppers.
A house fire in Elmer leaves a Jackson County family of 7 without a home. The fire broke out last night while the family was inside.
Thankfully, they all made it out, but one of them was taken to a hospital for smoke inhalation. 7 News reporter Haley Wilson has a look at the devastation.
That's right. Take a look at what the fire did to their mobile home. You can see it destroyed everything and even started melting glass. You can see that right here. The fire started around 8:30 last night. Fire crews from Elmer and Altus were working to put it out when the roof started weakening and they were called off. The fire chief says they had to let their house just burn down because it was too dangerous.
It went up like a match.
Gary Johnston lived in the home with his 2 parents, wife, and 3 children. He says he was at his brother's house when they got the call.
His phone rang and I heard my mom say, "Our house is on fire." So we got in the car and went to Elmer.
The fire chief says he believes it started in a wood stove. One of the kids was the first to spot the flames.
Bobby said that he thought Donnie was joking with him when he saw fire coming through the ceiling and didn't think nothing about it.
They quickly realized it wasn't a joke, and the oldest child carried his grandfather out of the burning home. Johnston says he got there about 5 minutes after receiving the call.
I went in the front door and never thought about going and picking anything out.
Within minutes, it was too late for him to go back inside. All their belongings was burned in the house. Johnston says the kids are taking it as well as they can.
They don't like it because all their stuff's gone. But they know we're going to make it.
And while their home is gone, Johnston is optimistic.
It would have been a lot worse. But it wasn't.
Which is good.
Could have been better, but
The family is receiving help from the Red Cross for now, and they're staying with a neighbor turned friend. If you want to help out, just give her a call at 580-649-4999.
The date for Oklahomans to vote on medical marijuana is now set, and the countdown to the election day has started. Governor Mary Fallin announced the date this week. State Question 788 will be on the June 26th primary ballot. 2 years ago, a petition brought to the Oklahoma State Capitol with enough signatures to have a referendum on medical marijuana. Former state of Colorado marijuana coordinator Andrew Friedman told 7 News back in the fall that changing the law can take time.
You have to push the government in order to change the way it's doing things. But there's also, if you do it too fast, it's not going to be done right, and that's going to be a problem.
The state question is unique because the proposal bill makes it the doctor's responsibility to prescribe marijuana by leaving out the list of medical requirements in the bill. You have to be 18 or older for a medical marijuana license, and then you could legally have up to 3 ounces of the drug.
A chance to make connections, work hard, and have fun. When and where you can catch the pig, lamb, goat, and sheep show now underway in Lawton.
And a little cool tonight as we look live on our Wichita Falls Tower Cam. Temperatures still holding on around 50 degrees. We'll talk about the slow warm up through next week and our next rain chance coming up.
Here's your first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Austin Bowling.
A fairly nice end of the work week considering where we started with temperatures on that chilly side. But we are starting to see some of those clouds streaming in here this evening. You've got a live look to the northwest from our Cameron University Tower Cam this evening. Right now, 50 degrees here in the Lawton area. No wind to speak of, so no wind chill to speak of either. So a little bit on the cool side. Probably a good bet to take along that light jacket just in case if you're going to be heading out and about here over the next few hours. Now, as we work our way into the weekend, we expect to see temperatures pretty much in the same ballpark that we saw today. Mid and upper 50s for both Saturday into Sunday. The only difference between today and the next couple of days will be some building clouds throughout the afternoon on Saturday. A little bit of a southeast breeze at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. By Sunday, very gusty southwest winds, 15 to 25 miles per hour. We expect to see a bit of a front coming through later on into the evening hours. That'll bring in some gusty north winds, and that will be enough to squeeze out a few spotty showers, but not everybody expecting to see those only about a 40% chance right now. So let's walk you through future track and show you those high level clouds streaming through overnight. We'll wake up to more of a clear to fair sky first thing on Saturday morning. The clouds will be rolling in. These will be low clouds. So later on into the day on Saturday. And then by the time we get into Sunday morning, waking up to a gloomy start, and you notice a few blips of green here. That would be some spotty sprinkles as you're heading out to church services there at 7 o'clock on Sunday morning. And then as the front starts to pass through, you can see how better rain chances remain mainly east of Texoma, but still a decent chance for eastern counties here in our neck of the woods. Now looking ahead to Sunday, chances as far west as Hobart, Snyder, Frederick, down towards Electra, Texas. A better chance, though, just to the east of Interstate 44 and along Highway 81. They're going to be hit and miss, very light, but not expecting anything as far as any rumbles of thunder across the area. And as we work our way into early next week, temperatures will be back in the 60s as early as Tuesday, mid-60s there on Wednesday. But our next cool blast coming in heading into Thursday and Friday, at least it's in the 40s and not the 20s like we dealt with much of last week. For the rest of tonight, lows dropping down into the upper 20s in southwest Oklahoma. We're going to be more into the mid and upper 20s across southwest Oklahoma. And then heading into tomorrow, temperatures will be in the mid 50s in north of the Red River and more into the upper 50s to low 60s south of the Red River. So here's a look at your first alert 7-day forecast. Temperatures expected to stay in the 50s with a small rain shower chance there on Sunday all the way through Monday, the 50s, 60s for Tuesday and Wednesday, sliding back into the 40s late next week.
Refuge is going to be nice. I saw those pictures there.
I know, and you know that that's where I'm going to be this weekend, taking advantage of that, at least until that 40% chance moves in on Sunday.
Good hiking weather.
That's right. All right, stick with us. We'll be right back.
Altus's long-serving emergency management director says he's retiring. Lloyd Colston will have his retirement ceremony on January 12th from 2 until 4 in the afternoon. It will be in the City Hall's council chambers. Colston has kept Altus current with technology, including getting up-to-date weather warnings to the public. And during his time, the emergency management was named as a National Weather Service Norman's Weather Ready Nation Ambassador of Excellence for 2017.
A fun weekend for kids in agriculture. The Great Plains Winter National is now underway in Lawton. It began at the top of the hour with a doe goat and market lamb show. Kids from all across Oklahoma and Texas are showing off their livestock. In fact, they're expecting around 1,200 entries in the next 2 days. All the kids are under 18 years. We spoke with one of the event's chairmen. He tells us this is a great opportunity for kids and the city of Lawton.
We do this for the kids. We do this to get behind youth in agriculture and just provide a place for them to show animals and support them, because in our opinions they are the future, and as well it brings a great influx of money right here into the economy.
The kids are competing to win cash prizes. If you'd like to check it out, it is completely free. Again, the goat and lamb show has already started. Tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, the pig show will start, followed by a sheep show. The Winter National is expected to wrap up around 7 o'clock tomorrow night.
Across Oklahoma, the mission started by the now missing pilot out of Edmond has been completed. Dr. Bill Kinzinger left Wiley Post Airport on Wednesday, heading for Texas. He was set to pick up a disabled dog in Georgetown to bring to a foster home in Oklahoma, but his plane veered off of course. It was last seen heading into the Gulf of Mexico. Last night, a volunteer pilot completed his mission, picking up the husky named Masaru. It's something they feel that Kinzinger would have wanted.
Whatever happened to Bill, he did it for this dog, out of the goodness of his heart. Honestly, what I feel like we're doing is we're flying Bill's return leg, bringing a puppy back that he was headed to Georgetown to get.
The Coast Guard is actively searching for Kinzinger and his aircraft. His colleagues are hoping he will be found alive. It's believed that he suffered from hypoxia, which happens when your brain does not get enough oxygen. His aircraft was last seen on radar about 220 miles north of Cancun.
Rebates could soon be coming to you in the way of your utilities. You may remember earlier this week, Oklahoma Attorney General Mike Hunter requested 5 power companies reduce utility rates for its customers, and yesterday 5 judges agreed. They recommended utility companies give any savings they get under the new federal tax law to its customers. That includes Oklahoma Gas and Electric, Public Service Company of Oklahoma, Oklahoma Natural Gas, CenterPoint Energy, and Arkansas Oklahoma Gas. The new tax law lowers the highest corporate income tax from 35% to 21%. Attorney General Hunter estimates that could save customers $100 million a year. The judges ordered the Oklahoma Corporate Commission to begin preparing orders today.
It's already a bestseller, but the White House is not happy. The claims the book Fire and Fury make regarding the commander-in-chief and the reaction it's getting.
Out with the old, in with the new. Health officials say the new year is a great time to clean out the refrigerator and freezer. I'm Mackenzie Burke, and tonight on MedWatch, I'll tell you why.
You can count on us. This is 7 News.
It is already a bestseller. In fact, it's sold out in Washington, D.C. And tonight, more fallout over the bombshell book, Fire and Fury. It claims to have behind-the-scenes information about the Trump administration, and it just hit bookstores this morning.
That's right. And one of the big claims it makes is saying the president is mentally unfit for the role, and that the White House says is laughable.
Let me put a marker in the sand here. 100% of the people around him.
It's disgraceful and laughable. If he was unfit, he probably wouldn't be sitting there.
Hours before its release, the president tweeted the book is full of, quote, lies, misrepresentations, and fake sources. Now, White House officials, both former and current, are reacting.
No, I think there's some anecdotes that may be true, but there's also the problem I have, George, is that with this book, as with many stories, is that if it's 10% or 20% or 50% or 70% that isn't true, the reader's not left to know which is true and which is not.
I've never questioned his mental fitness. I have no reason to question his mental fitness. He is not typical of presidents of the past. I think that's well recognized. That's also why the American people chose him. They were tired of what was being done in the past. They wanted something to change. So I've learned over the past year better how to deal with the president to serve what I think he needs to know so he can make good decisions.
The White House is also facing new accusations. The president tried interfering with the Russia investigation. The New York Times reports the president asked his top lawyer to stop Attorney General Jeff Sessions from recusing himself.
It also says before FBI Director James Comey was fired, a Sessions aide asked for damaging information about Comey. The Justice Department, however, says that did not happen. One of the women accusing Alabama Judge Roy Moore of sexual abuse is now suing him for defamation. Lee Korfman filed a suit against both Moore and his campaign committee. She claims the campaign defamed her by calling her a liar and questioning her motives when she claimed Moore abused her nearly 40 years ago. She is asking Moore to pay court costs and demanding a retraction and an apology. Moore has repeatedly denied all allegations against him, saying he has never met those accusers.
New details just released today about last month's train derailment in Washington State. According to the National Transportation and Safety Board, the train was going 78 miles an hour before it crashed, and that's 48 miles over the posted speed limit. The train flew off of an overpass onto a highway. 3 people were killed and dozens more were hurt. Damages are expected to top $40 million. So far, the train's engineer and another crew member have not been interviewed due to their extensive injuries.
An Atlanta police officer going the extra mile to help a homeless mother and her 4 kids.
They were living out of a car until a deputy police chief took action. Victor Blackwell has that story.
A routine traffic stop just before last Christmas turned into a life-changing experience for Ebony Rhodes and an Atlanta deputy police chief. Her license and registration were expired and she had no insurance. The car was impounded and Ebony was arrested.
I was like, oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord.
That's when Deputy Police Chief Jeff Glazier got a call. And on the ride to the police station, one of his officers asked her about something he noticed in the back of Ebony's car.
We were getting everything out of the car. We were getting a whole lot of bags, a whole lot of clothing and everything. And I told him, you know, hey, this is our home. This is where we were living.
Ebony and her 4 children, Calvin, Isaac, Jaheim, and Denasia, were all cramped in her 20-year-old Buick Regal for almost 6 months.
I was only working at Walmart and trying to make sure that I'm able to feed my kids and keep gas in the car. It was unable to get a place.
Oh, she's still alive. No.
And complications from a chronic blood disorder forced her to miss some work.
That's the worst I ever felt, not being able to provide for my kids like I should be. Because as a mother, that's your job.
I remember turning to my wife and saying, you know, Michelle, we have to do something. And she said, well, go do something.
Soon after Ebony was released, Chief Glazier called the director of a shelter he'd met weeks earlier.
I called her up and said, listen, I've got a family of 5, including 3 boys and a girl, and he's 17, and do you have any room? And she said, yeah, I've got some room.
Oh, God. When he called me that day, I just started crying.
But he was still walking around. Yeah, he was.
Finally, Ebony's family had a safe, albeit temporary, home.
You know, staying in a shelter is not optimum. I consider that the whole time just to be a short-term solution for this family.
So he helped them find this apartment and has become a reliable friend and mentor to Ebony and the kids.
I would describe him as, putting him as like a person that helps families get into a better place and not in a bad situation.
Chief Glazier says it's easy to help Ebony.
It's not like she didn't want to work. When I first met her, she had 2 jobs. She was working at Walmart and she had another part-time job. And so she's trying to do the right thing.
And Chief Glazier has started a GoFundMe campaign to make sure they are never homeless again.
You want to be a striker, or did you want to be a striker?
Ebony knows she's not in this fight alone.
That is my family away from family. The whole APD is my other family.
We'll see you, Ebony.
All right, see you.
And she's looking forward to the new year.
Good job today.
Thank you.
Thanks in part to the officers of the Atlanta Police Department who go beyond the call of duty.
It is cold and getting even colder. I'm ABC's Maggie Ruley, and we'll have the latest on this Arctic chill gripping the East Coast just ahead.
Not too bad out there this evening. Probably need that light jacket over the next few hours. Temperatures here right now, upper 40s to near 50 degrees. 50 in Lawton and Duncan, 51 down south at Wichita Falls, 43 now in Waurika, 48 in Altus, 46 out west in the Harmon County area. Now, as we continue to work our way through this evening, you're going to continue to see those temperatures falling off through the 40s and eventually the 30s by the time we get towards, say, later this evening into the early morning hours, eventually starting out here by the time we get into tomorrow morning in the upper 20s. So not as cold as we have been, but still just below freezing. By the time we get towards lunchtime, temperatures right around 50 degrees, and we'll continue to warm up into the mid and upper 50s with extra clouds later on into the afternoon into the evening hours. And we are still tracking that rain chance on the way for Sunday. Time that out for you coming up in just a bit. Guys.
Thanks a lot, Austin. The East Coast still dealing with that massive winter storm, and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration giving us a pretty cool glimpse of it from space.
Check out these satellite images of the so-called bomb cyclone. It shows the storm blanketing the southeast with some rare snow before moving up the coast and intensifying before hitting the north. NOAA says the system showed an unusually high rate of intensification.
And what that means is frigid wind chills and whiteout conditions. And while that storm is over, a bitter cold has been left in its wake.
ABC's Maggie Ruley reports.
Frigid cold and harsh winds are lashing the East Coast.
It's painful. It's so cold, like frozen.
With wind chills dipping below 0 from New England down to southern Florida.
I think what surprised all of us was the fact that it was all the way up the coast.
Cities now frozen over as they're still recovering from yesterday's monster storm. A record-breaking high tide in Boston topped 15 feet, even beating out the legendary blizzard of '78. Along the coast, more than 1,000 crashes have been reported since yesterday. And these vehicles in Gloucester, Massachusetts, destroyed by the floodwaters after they were forced off the streets due to a parking ban.
Completely totaled. Been underwater for about 4 hours yesterday. Salt water. Nothing we can do.
In Florida, growers fighting against single-digit temps are in a desperate race to save their crops.
Cut your harvest in half.
But many people are not letting the cold get them down and out running in shorts. even sitting with a drink on top of their frozen pools in South Carolina. The animals are chilling out too. These turtles, stunned by the cold, were rescued off the coast of Texas. And it is not over yet. Forecasts show it's going to be even colder tomorrow, with wind chills approaching negative 50s in parts of New England and even below zero in North Carolina. Yes, it is cold and getting even colder, but there is some good news in sight. It's supposed to start warming up next week. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, New York.
In Pennsylvania, one family is counting their blessings. Their small dog was snatched up by an eagle, only to be found miles later alive.
The family has 4 small dogs, and earlier this week they were out in their backyard, and that's when the family noticed an eagle circling overhead. In just a second, their 8-pound dog named Zoe was gone, clutched in the talons of the bird.
Oh no, the family desperately began searching as temperatures dropped to the single digits. With a heavy heart, they posted Zoe's picture on Facebook, hoping to at least get her body back so they could bury it.
But just 4 miles away, as luck would have it, a woman spotted Zoe on the road, cold but alive. She recognized the dog from the picture online.
I said to my friend Cindy, oh my God, this is a miracle. There's a God.
People are good. There is good in this world. It's amazing, and you think, and you know, with everything going on in the world, you think, no, there's not, and there really is.
What a good reminder of that. And the Newmans are now considering buying a special Velcro jacket that's made to protect small dogs from prey. If they're snatched up, the Velcro will give way, releasing the pet back to the ground.
For the first time, a Kansas police chief is addressing a swatting call that led to the death of a man last month.
Chief Gordon Ramsay spoke briefly to reporters. He didn't say much about the ongoing investigation, but did say this is something his department will learn from. Last month, officers were called to the home of Andrew Finch on a possible shooting and hostage situation.
When Finch answered his door, police say he did not follow their commands, but instead reached toward his waistband, and that's when one officer shot and killed him. Police later learned Finch was the victim of a swatting call from a man in California.
This is a terrible tragedy, not only for obviously for the family, that will forever impact them, but also the community as well as police staff that will carry this burden for the rest of their lives as well.
An investigation is still ongoing. The man responsible for making the swatting call has been arrested.
And he is suspected in at least 20 other swatting calls, including one he served time for. He's being extradited to Kansas to face a second-degree murder charge. No other arrests have been made.
New details on that kidnapping out of Round Rock, Texas. The 2 girls were found safe in Colorado Wednesday. The man they were with, Terry Miles, has been arrested.
And tonight we are hearing from the father of one of those girls. He says there could be more to the story. Lauren Kravitz reports.
Hundreds of miles away in Sulphur, Louisiana, this father is relieved knowing his daughter Lily is alive.
I was just overwhelmed. I couldn't believe it.
Greg Griffith didn't know how this kidnapping would end. He says Terry Miles acted inappropriately with Lily when he used to live next door.
He'd go with my daughter for like one day or something, and then they go in there hugging.
Griffith believes Miles was stalking his daughter, which is how he ended up living with her mother, and half-sister at this Round Rock duplex, the same place where Lily and Lulu's mother was found dead. Police call Miles a person of interest in her death. But a text message Griffith showed us may indicate why there's some doubt. He says it's from Miles to Miles' mother, who is a friend of Griffith.
It was really odd saying that he came home to a really bad situation.
The message also implicates Tanya's boyfriend, but doesn't identify that person. Federal authorities confirm Miles' mother received a text from one of the girls' phones Saturday, but they have not confirmed this is that specific message. Police tracked the phone to a wooded area next to a Round Rock Walmart. Surveillance video from the store showed Miles buying camping items. Griffith knows Miles' plan could have ended in disaster.
Because he always said, I have nothing to lose. This will be the 3rd strike if I screw up again, and that I have nothing to lose. I'll take somebody out with me.
Now, Griffith says he hopes to get custody of his children, but right now it's still not clear where they will go.
The Department of Justice has released a cause of death for their mother, saying she suffered from blunt force trauma, but so far, no one has been charged.
MedWatch 7 is sponsored by Comanche County Memorial Hospital.
Leftovers from holiday dinners are great, but how long should you wait before it's time to clean out your refrigerator? Doctors say with the new year, it may be a great time to do some deep cleaning.
The new year is a great time for new beginnings, and while you consider giving yourself a new makeover, think about giving one to your refrigerator and freezer too. Check all of the use by and expiration dates on dairy products and eggs. It may be time to let go of that old block of cheese and chip or veggie dip too. Some condiments can even become contaminated with bacteria. Even if the product says they're good for up to 6 months in the refrigerator, consider everyone in the home using them and how many times they've had their hands in the fridge when sick. The same goes for the freezer. That pint of ice cream you've been meaning to get to can go bad after a while. And don't forget cleaning products. Yes, that multi-surface cleaner may get the job done, but do you really want your food even close to chemicals? Try using vinegar for a cleaning solution to avoid any chemical contamination.
For MedWatch 7, I'm Mackenzie Burke.
MedWatch 7 was sponsored by Comanche County Memorial Hospital. Here's your first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Austin Bowling.
Pretty quiet over in Duncan tonight. Duncan Regional Hospital Tower Cam, more fair skies. Notice no wind to speak of out there either. 49 degrees. Winds at the Halliburton Airport, though, on the south side of town. Out of the northeast at around 6, but up here at Plato Road, not much to find out there right now. As we look ahead towards your Saturday, expecting to wake up to more clear to fair skies in the morning. It's going to be another chilly start, just below freezing in the upper 20s. By the time we get towards lunchtime, highs right around 50 degrees, and we'll be pushing the mid-50s for highs, just like we saw today by tomorrow afternoon. And then also notice we're looking at increasing clouds. That is as our next storm system starts to work its way back into the area. So we start here tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock. We're seeing some gray, some light gray in here for southeastern and eastern counties. That's that cloud cover coming right back in. And it will be a rather gloomy start to Sunday. Notice the cloud cover pretty much socking in all of the area. A few blips of green. That would be a few spotty sprinkles first thing in the morning. By the time we get into the afternoon, you notice that front passing through and not anything widespread. It is going to be off and on hit and miss showers as that cold front passes through the region. Most of the rainfall is going to stay over in eastern Oklahoma and northeastern Texas. But by 6 o'clock Sunday evening, we're pretty much pulling the plug on many of those rain chances. So here on Sunday, you see have just that one little area of anywhere just to the east of Hobart, Snyder, Frederick, and Electra, Texas. Better chances, though, just along and east of I-44 over towards Highway 81. Few and far between, but mainly during the midday and afternoon hours before coming to an end by Sunday evening. And then temperatures on a warming trend as well, staying in the 50s through Monday, 60s on Tuesday and Wednesday before dropping again into the 40s for Thursday into Friday. These will be some breezy days, so feeling like the 30s, but at least it's not highs in the 20s. So for the rest of tonight, lows into the mid-20s across southwest Oklahoma, and then for tomorrow, highs back into the mid and upper 50s. Here's a look at your first alert 7-day forecast. Watching out for rain showers here for eastern counties coming up on Sunday afternoon with highs in the 50s, low to mid 60s for Tuesday and Wednesday, and then falling through the 40s next Thursday.
Now it's time for sports with 7 News' Kyle Weatherly. Sponsored by the Billingsley family of dealerships.
It's tournament week for high school basketball teams here in Oklahoma. A handful of area squads made their way to Apache for day 2 of the Slick Hills Invitational. We'll start with the Fletcher and Riverside girls. The Lady Braves would get off to a fast start. Celeste Whiteplume pitches it to Sienna Bolts, and she finds the net from three-point range. Riverside on the scoreboard first. Later in the quarter, off the miss, Whiteplume is there for the offensive board and the putback. The Lady Braves would jump out to an 8-2 lead. Back comes Fletcher, though. Jalen Comardley steps through the double team, and she scores. Lady Wildcats within 3. Then Fletcher breaks the press, and that leads to an open look for Kaylee Schulte, and the freshman knocks it down from distance. The Lady Wildcats pulled to within 2 at the half. Second half, Dorini Slinky kicks it out to Ayanna Freed, and she hits the 3 ball. Riverside goes on to win a good one, 34-28. They advance to tomorrow's championship game, where they'll play either Empire or Apache. On the consolation side of the bracket, the Fletcher boys squared off against Wilson fourth quarter. Sloppy play here as the two teams trade turnovers. Logan Schaaf is Johnny on the spot, and he lays it up and in. Wilson on top by 10. Fletcher would respond with the 3-ball. Zane Hawk finds Carson Funkhauser open on the wing, and he drills the triple Wildcats within 6. Moments later, Logan Powers spots Ryan Dees all alone in the corner, and he drains the corner tray. Fletcher looking to make a comeback, but they would quickly go cold, and Wilson would take advantage. Schaaf dishes to a cutting Carson Fulton for the deuce. Eagles back up by double digits. Then late in the fourth, Kyle Lamb adds the exclamation point with the 3-ball. Wilson wins going away 61-40. They are on to the consolation championship. Staying on the consolation side, the Empire boys drew Gracemont fourth quarter. Bulldogs down by 6. They get a little bit closer here as they dump it down to Lucas Contreras, and he scores inside to cut it to a 4-point ball game. Moments later, off the Gracemont miss, Dakota Curtis ahead to Ethan Panel, who scores in transition. Empire stays within 4. Gracemont trying to hold them off. Caden Reynolds dishes to Isaac Silverhorn, who hits the tough layup in traffic. Lions back up by 7. Empire would continue to put the pressure on, though. Curtis goes the length of the floor. Nice move there to get to the hoop and finish, but Gracemont would hit their free throws down the stretch, and the Lions hold on for the 64-53 victory. They will play in the consolation finals tomorrow afternoon. On the wrestling mat, defending 5A state champion MacArthur scored another big win yesterday. The Highlanders handled Tulsa Union by a score of 48-21. Mac is now a perfect 4-0 in duels this season. MacArthur is currently ranked number 1 in both the 5A duel and tournament rankings. They are competing in the always tough Geary Invitational this weekend. Mac will be back at home on January 25th against Ardmore. The OU basketball team improved to 12-1 with a 109-89 win over OSU on Wednesday. Freshman phenom Trey Young put up great numbers once again with 27 points, 10 assists, and 9 rebounds. But he's not the only young player who stepped up for the Sooners. Fellow Frosh Brady Manick knocked down 6 3-pointers and racked up a career-high 28 points against the rival Cowboys.
Brady's been comfortable from day one. I think probably the most surprising moment was that first month when we were preparing for the foreign trip, of how comfortable he was and how he stepped in and shot up from the start and expected to make plays from the start, and we didn't know how quickly he'd make that transition. So he kind of brought that with him. That's his nature. He's got great instincts, obviously confidence in shooting the basketball, but does a lot of other things well too. So couldn't be more pleased for Brady and all the guys, for sure.
Manick is now averaging nearly 12 points per game on the season. He and the 7th-ranked Sooners will head to Morgantown tomorrow to face number 6 West Virginia. The OU football team is losing another talented junior. Mark Andrews announced yesterday that he is skipping his senior season to enter the NFL draft. Like Orlando Brown earlier this week, this was far from a surprise. Andrews is the first Sooner to ever win the John Mackey Award, given to the top tight end in college football each season. Andrews led the team with 62 receptions, 8 of which resulted in touchdowns. He was second on the team with 958 receiving yards.
Closed captioning is sponsored by American Ear, Hearing Aid and Audiology Center. When storms threaten Texoma, your First Alert weather team is always ready. First Alert Weather on 7 News.
Guys, if y'all are feeling lucky, you've still got some time to go out and buy a lottery ticket. The jackpot for tonight's Mega Millions is up to $445 million.
Now, no one has won the grand prize since mid-October. If there is a winner tonight, it would be the 4th largest jackpot in Mega Millions history. If you take the cash option, you'd get just over $277 million.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Wouldn't it?
The Powerball jackpot is also up for grabs. It has now reached $570 million. The drawing for that one is tomorrow, and we'll have tonight's Mega Millions winning numbers for you on 7 News at 10.
And I don't know if we've hit the temperature jackpot here. At least it's not the 20s, but temperatures staying in the 50s through this weekend into Monday. Watch out for a few small shower chances, mainly in the afternoon, coming up on Sunday with highs there in the 50s, 60s for Tuesday.
All right, thank you so much, Austin, and thanks for joining us for 7 News at 6.
We hope you'll join us again for 7 News at 10.
KSWO 7 News. Here's your first alert weather forecast.